Pattern twice, Alex. But what we'll do is ask you to, as soon as you finish your first pattern, go immediately back to the start marker so we don't waste any time, okay? So you can get 2 patterns in. If your first pattern is perfect, then we can go back to the rail and ride a little bit more. That'll be your call, but everybody's had time to do their pattern twice, okay? All right, class is in. You're being judged on the relative walk. Walk your horse, please. My first impression of this rider is super positive. I love the length and the profile. Very impressive leg. If I could be super picky to make her lower back look a little more perfect. You know, we want the shap and the pant to be straight across the middle of the back. Obviously, she's not turned out in her full outfit today, and she don't have her hair up. So these are finishing touches that are huge. So we want to make sure, obviously, at the first horse show, Alex, that you make sure somebody gets a good bit of video with your full attire and kind of critique that hairdo a little bit. I know you've got some hair cut off, so we got to make sure we know how to do that. We talked a bit about it a little bit already. Good cadence and pace to this walk, I like. This horse allows you to bridle him up a little bit. Be careful when you are thinking about that you don't slow your walk down too much. You want to have a very purposeful forward walk. I think you guys are even going to see this year in some of your patterns that the judges are going to give you. They're even calling it walk with purpose. I've seen that a lot this year. I've called it because we've had some situations where we've tried to extinguish that super slow walk. So I want to bring that to your attention. Jog, please. I do not have a problem, you guys know that, I do not have a problem that I can hear you verbally communicating with your horse. We know that some disciplines, some coaches, some situations, that is discouraged, but I think when we get into the collegiate deals, I think there's no judge out there that is going to be offended by it. So I think you've got to bring every tool, every tool to the party that you can to communicate with these horses. So I was glad to hear that. You didn't get panicked, you didn't get worried, you kind of just waited on him. That's very good, very good. I want to see your neck sit back a little more to the back of your collar. Just imagine you've got a collar on a shirt there. Got your chin jutted out in front of you just a little bit. We could have a little bit more structure across your collarbone and your shoulder. And want to back up a little bit to that break of gait. You know, what do you say? That's just can't happen. You know, you've looked really good so far. Everything about your ride's been above average, but you go from hero to zero with a break of gait. So just huge amount of points are going to be lost in your score. Extend your jog, please. Extend the jog. Remember that it is just an extension of a jog. It's not a big long trot, so don't set yourself up for trouble. That is certainly sufficient there. Sometimes we get a little bit too racy and too forward thinking about it. And back to the normal jog. Now going back to the comment we made about the shoulders, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Do we think about our shoulder? You know, Sarah and I went through this last year with her situation. Do we think about our shoulder? Do we think about our upper arm? Do we think about lifting our rib cage? Do we think about changing our neck position? So you've got to try, you know, you got to troubleshoot some of those things, try to figure out what changes. But we want to see a little flatter look across the shoulder blades with a little more look of a frame to the shoulder with the arm to your side. You know, that's the end goal. And so what works for you to get to that point? Maybe a little shoulder pad, maybe a extra bra, maybe strengthening your back, maybe wearing a corset. I don't know. You know, troubleshoot with it. Let's lope. Lope, please. But I don't think there's an artificial substitute out there that can take the place of core strength. That's the bottom line. Okay, the break of gait here, once again, just something that we just can't have. It just is a big slap in the face to lack of connection, lack of communication, no control. All of these things, you know, are comments that the judges will write down, that some will take 10 points, some will take 20 from your total score of your rail work. Some judges don't give you points on the rail, you know that, but they'll just rank you way down there depending on the number of break of gaits that you have. The other thing that's a little disturbing to me with your last break of gait was the disconnection from behind. He was on the right lead behind and the left lead up front. To me, that's even worse than being on the right lead. Walk, because that tells me your outside leg is not engaging that hip in the proper body alignment. So hopefully that makes sense to you, what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's the footing on the rail. So having said that, if you know you've got bad footing on your rail, your horse doesn't feel balanced, maybe think about getting off the rail a little bit. So reverse at the walk and continue to walk. So in a nutshell, when they're disunited, one lead up front and, you know, and one lead behind, you know, you're looking at poor body alignment, poor balance. So that is more of a point deduction than just coming up on the wrong lead, honestly. So we want to really be strong and supportive with those outside aids and be aware of that horse's balance. Lope, please. Lope your horse. Now, I know this horse because he spent a lot of time in my barn. He does not have a spur stop on him. I know that. But this little trick he just pulled on you when you cued him and he stopped and sucked back, that's really common with your spur stop horses. So I wanted to bring that, these spur trained horses that unfortunately sometimes end up in our horsemanship classes. So make sure we always keep forward motion in our gaits and keep our horse out in front of us. Don't just go to a leg, because you might get a turn on the forehand, you might get a stop in the back up, you might get different things like that. So take your time with your transitions, and the first thing that always needs to pop to mind is going to be that forward motion. Jog, jog please. Doing a nice job of your jog, shaping him, and your walk was pretty good. We've definitely got some issues at the lope that are not all your fault. You know, I know you're strong, so it's appearing that he's, I don't know if he's had the whole summer off, but he's really off balance. And right here, for example, just totally disengaged. He's shouldering into the inside of the arena and hip to the outside. No, you know, it's just like he's two different horses. He's got a front end and he's got a rear end. So a lot of these things that I'm bringing up on your video, it's not your fault, but you got to ride that. You got to present that. So be aware of it. So right there, I would probably shift my outside leg back a little bit and lift that inside rein up so you can at least fake it. Walk your horse. So the whole gist of that conversation is that in your division and in all of the divisions up from you, these are the things the judge is looking for you to feel. Is she going to feel that and fix it? You know, is she going to just take it and accept it, or is she going to, you know, try to fix it? Where is it going to shoot her in the foot in her pattern? Blah, blah, blah. Halt and back 4 steps. and walk on. Reverse at the walk and continue at the walk. Okay, I wanted to get some of this going on right here pretty close up and personal so you can kind of see a few of the little things. Still want to see a little bit more depth of heel for you as the class has progressed. Your thigh has moved forward a little bit from what we had at the beginning of the class, and it's still not bad, but any judge in a comparison of a first and second place rider is going to notice the difference. You've changed. Your thigh position has changed from the time that you came in to now. And so those are the things that we want to talk about. Now, repositioning. How obvious do we want to be about that? You know, pick your time. You know, it's not a bad thing for a judge to see you reposition a little bit. It tells me you know you've gotten out of position. Maybe you're riding a rough horse, and as long as you know it and you do it subtly and pick your time, I think it can be credit earning. You know, just don't be offensive about it. Reverse at the walk and come into line up for your pattern. I want to remind you that many times this, you know, reverse is our tiebreaker. So make sure over here on the other side in your reverse, you had to break a gait in that forward motion in your walk. Once again, make sure you keep that flow and your horse out in front of you. I think you'll be able to see right here what I'm talking about a little bit with your chin. You're dropping your eye there. Make sure you show all the time. We want to keep that neck back up against the collar. And not drop your eye. Right here is first impression, so keep all that very positive. Okay, Sarah, you can stop. You about ready? Okay, why don't you walk back to the rail like you're in the lineup? We'll start the video and go from there, okay? Are you on, Sarah?
Yep.
Okay. We're ready, Alex. Okay, remember, give yourself, when you have plenty of room, take it. Take that real estate to establish that line and get that forward motion. Don't crowd that first marker. Unless it tells you you have to be at it, give yourself a good start. Would love to see that corner just a little sharper. You want to push through with your leg through that rib cage a little more and not just hand ride him around to make that a little sharper. Nice line. Once again, same thing with your corners. Would like to see a little more extension here. I'm not seeing enough difference between the collected and the extended. And then of course we've got the break a gait. There wasn't, because of the break a gait, you really didn't demonstrate enough jog there, honestly, to even get a score almost. So some judges would even hit you for leaving out a...
It's a walk, isn't it? It's a walk before the lope? Or is it a jog? Okay.
It's a jog. And we had the backup step in the pivot. So the placement, however, of, you know, your planning for everything, I think was not bad, Alex. I think you're going to have to stretch the width of it out a little bit to give yourself time to get this extended corner in and demonstrate enough of a collection to be judged well. Okay, let's stop. Okay, we're ready. Now, once again, you guys can kind of play with this weekend at the horse show, whether or not you put a little shoulder pad and a little more padding in your bra or whatever you want to do. Give you just a little more shoulder. You're so tiny up there, we might could give you just a little more upper body. Your leg is good. Much better plan there. Keep him out in front of you. Don't let your eye drop. Good girl. Yeah. There you go. Big difference. Good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Alex, exactly. That is exactly what I was talking about.
Better?
Better. You tell me, you don't think so?
Yeah, I just felt like he didn't really pivot. Like, I could have made him pivot a lot better.
Yeah, but you didn't take a step backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to do that part again? You got 1 minute.
Sure.
1 minute and 37 seconds, actually. Get it right. No, I'm kidding. Put some finish to your stop, but then close your leg like you're going to take a step forward. Close your leg. Where's your eye? There. There. Good. But you know, if you just let your mind stay just on your stop, then he's going to back up.
Yeah.
And most of them will, because you just pulled on his face to stop him. You hope that he's in the bridle. So if you have that feel and he's right there, he's going to take a step back if you don't close your leg. Okay? Why don't you just lope a circle out here in front of us on the left lead, since you just did a right lead. We've got a couple seconds left on your time. And I want to see you guide around a circle. You didn't have any trouble with that right lead arc, but historically, you like to lean in on a turn. And I was very happy with your arc. You didn't do it, but I want you to see on video a lope circle since we've got a second or two. So just a circle out there in the middle. Perfect. Now just be aware of how much weight you have distributed in each seat bone. Don't let your inside shoulder drop. Push through your right heel, and if you feel like he's getting lazy, leg whip him a little bit with that right calf. Thump him. Just keep your heel down. There you go. Series of straight lines, remember? Your eye looks like, to me, it's on the ground about 12 feet in front of you. Let's have it over the left ear about 12 feet in front of you. There you go. Better. Now find a place where he's straight and just stop. Okay, let's do that again. That was a dribble. That was not a stop. One more time. Put some finish to it. You want it to be square and straight. It's a little better. He's a little more square. Good. Okay. Your alarm has sounded.